Welcome to veterinarycareers.com.au, interview the vet to be. I'm Emma Davis, one of the founders of veterinarycareers.com.au and a veterinary career and business coach. And I'm so excited to introduce you today to our guest speaker, Jess Cliffe. Jess is a fourth year student, veterinary student at Massey University in New Zealand, and getting to know each other, Jess is a bit of a YouTube star, and I'm so excited to have her here because last year at the start of the year, in January, she started up a YouTube channel about her journey as a veterinary student, and then COVID hit. And then Jess persisted and has created all this amazing content that's really inspiring for vet students and other people alike to understand the vet student journey. And then this year it's taken off and she now has 6,000 subscribers, which is amazing. So well done, Jess. So it's my pleasure to introduce you to Jess. And I'll just say that some of my students in Australia really wanted to hear from you. So I think that's great.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's
So welcome.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Emma. I really appreciate it. I think it's going to be really cool to just sit down and chat with you. So it's just so cool. Thank you so much.
That's great. So tell us about you, Jess, like as a vet and as a vet student and outside of vet. Tell us a bit more about the Jess story.
Yeah, so I started vet school in 2018. I finished high school in 2017, and I literally came straight from high school into vet school, and I got in on my first try, which I'm very thankful for. So yeah, I'm in my fourth year at Massey in New Zealand now. But yeah, and I've been working on YouTube since the start of last year, and like you said, COVID has kind of advanced things forward a little bit because we're all spending time inside. I thought it would be good to have another outlet alongside vet school because I love, like we were talking about earlier, being creative, and I wanted to find a different outlet while being at vet school to explore this creative side of me. So yeah, that's what I've been doing.
That's awesome. Well done. Okay, just pausing there because I have a 7-year-old homeschooling, home lifing at the minute and she's bouncing a ball. Just 1 second, I'll be back. Alan, don't bounce a ball inside in the middle of a live. Thanks. Okay, put it away. Be nice and quiet. Okay, be good. Thanks.
It's okay.
Goodness me, real life. Yeah, it's so good. And it's really brave what you're doing. I've been watching your content and my daughter is 7, Jasmine, and we've been watching it together. We love it. We think it's beautiful and creative and it's like full of energy and like all these special effects. And I just really love it. And I love how it's just real life, like having a kid bouncing a ball in the background. It's just real life and you make it so much fun. And so how did you think that up and what was your journey to get brave to do that? Like that's a really cool creative thing to do.
Yeah, well, when I was trying to get into vet school a couple of years ago, I was looking on the internet space to try and find someone who was doing what I'm now doing because I wanted that kind of inspiration or someone to show me what it's like because I knew what a veterinarian does, but I had no idea what vet school was like. And I couldn't really find anyone in the kind of New Zealand space that was doing what I was doing. And I was like, oh, I might as well give it a go. I have a history in the arts. At high school, I was an arts drama student. So I've never really been shy in terms of presenting and talking to people and that sort of stuff because I've done it from a very young age. But not having the performing arts anymore, I wanted to find another way of doing that from the comfort of my own home, which is why I kind of started doing the YouTube thing. And I started it again, just to target vet students and show them realistically what it's actually like being at vet school, the highs and the lows.
Yeah, and what's it been like? Like people have been reaching out to you now and talking to you about it, haven't they? So what's that journey like about hearing other people's stories and knowing that you've filled a gap for them?
Yeah, it's so lovely. Like I've had some incredible messages from people from even all around the world, not even New Zealand. I've created it with a New Zealand mindset because I wanted to target the students that don't really have that outlook. But I've had people from the United States, from the UK, from parts of Asia contact me and be like, thank you so much for making your videos. It's so cool. And it just is really rewarding to know that I'm actually contributing in a good way to someone else's life. Like I wouldn't care if I only got 10 views on a video as long as
and I saw that
yeah
Oh, sorry, I think my internet thing. Sorry, what were you saying? I spoke over the top of you.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if I only got like 10 views or something, as long as I know that it maybe changed someone's opinion in a good way, or influenced someone's life in another way, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, and I was reading and watching that you've really got a heart for, mental health stuff and really helping in our profession. So this has got to be directly helping lots of people. And VetX wanted to interview you as well. So you've been in contact with Dave Nichols, is that right? Did you do something with Dave? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. One of his assistants. Sorry, my.
Yeah. It's all right. I've got a 7-year-old. It's okay. Right.
One of Dave's assistants reached out to me because she found me. She's a vet student herself, and she found me on YouTube. And she reached out to me on Instagram and said, "Hey, I've found your videos, and we would love to interview you," which is really cool. Mm-hmm. So I did that blog post for them. I think it was the start of this year, and then since then, I have. Just kind of stayed in contact. I wrote a little quote for a new article that's coming out soon, and it's just really, and I got to meet you as well. So it's just such a cool space in the veterinary social media world that I had no idea about until I started doing this. It's been really cool. Yeah.
Good on you. And so you did a bit of, you've got a history in drama and stuff at school, and yeah, and the creativity. I'm really glad that you keeping going with that creativity, because my journey was like science. When I hit science, everything else dropped away. So yeah, what's your plan about moving forward in vet, and how do you think, like, does creativity help with mental health stuff as well in the pressure of vet school? Or tell me about the journey of vet school.
Loaded question, but I think it's been really beneficial for me to have a creative outlet, because you can only do so much just looking at a textbook or reading your notes or going through lectures in a day and then just not do anything else. Like, I think it's really important, for me at least, I don't know how many other people identify, but for having hobbies during vet school, because it can get really, really stressful at times, as long as these hobbies don't stress you out.
Yeah.
But I think personally it's been really great. I do this, and I love exercise. I work out a lot, and that's my other passion. And I think those two things have really saved me mentally, being at vet school. Definitely.
Yeah. Good on you. Yeah, it's a very challenging course, isn't it? And I'm really, I guess when you've only done one course, you only see that, you only know that. But I did a degree before, and I thought that was hard, and it was in equine science, and then it was so funny looking back, and then I did vet, and then it was like 3 or 4 times as hard as the first degree, like literally on contact hours and the level of reading and stuff that you need to do. Totally agree that having some balance in that is a good approach, because I didn't. So looking back. So good on you, and good on you for being there for the students that are coming through, that you're allowing yourself that time to do it. Because, I was like, I have to work, but I don't think I was able to show up as my best me without giving myself that mental break.
Absolutely. Yeah, you kind of lose parts of yourself if you don't explore the other things you need to do. If you just put yourself in one box, I feel like you kind of limit yourself. Even within the veterinary profession, I feel like if I didn't have this, like the YouTube space, I probably wouldn't be as good of a future vet, because it's teaching me so many other skills, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, that's great. And like you were talking about the online world, there's I'm looking forward to working with you more actually online, and because it's a really nice space to try some other skills out, isn't it? And then like you can earn income as well online, which is fantastic. And I think traditionally we're just like, if you went through vet like me and just science, you might forget about these other opportunities. Yeah. So what do you see, like, in your interests in the vet space? Where do you see your career going? Where do you want to start off in vet?
Oh, that's a great question. So today, actually, I got my rosters for next year. Like, we just got delivered it in our inboxes today. So I know I'm tracking in small animal medicine. So in New Zealand, we have to pick in our 5th year whether we want to do small or large or mixed or horses or whatever our interests are. It doesn't mean you only do that thing. We still have to see a certain number of weeks in large animal and equine practice, but most of my year will be small animal based. So I think when I graduate, I would love to work in a small animal practice or a mixed animal practice. I wouldn't be against that for a couple years, but I definitely want to continue with YouTube and the business space if possible. I just think it's a really good outlet, and it is like you said, starting to bring in some income for me because YouTube has started paying me now, which is incredible.
That's awesome. That's
yeah,
great.
I'd love to continue doing that in the future, and I hope I don't stop after I start working.
Oh, good on you. That you just created that opportunity for yourself. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So, thinking about all the problems that we've got in our profession and your experience so far, like you're already influencing us as an undergrad, which is awesome, and I love it. And you guys are the future. What kind of culture change do we need to bring through our profession? I'm sure you think about it. I saw some of your videos that were like about that, looking after yourself, the coaching, but pretty much you were coaching people from the YouTube channel, which is awesome, and that's what I coach people in. So if you were going to put some words around culture change in our profession, what do you reckon?
Well, I've been working, so over the past this year, I joined the Veterinary Wellbeing Initiative at my university, and I've been doing a lot of content talking to them, and I made some content for them earlier in the year, interviewing some of our lecturers to give a bit of insight into what well-being means to them and how they look after their well-being as a lecturer and also as a veterinarian. And I've also been doing a bit with Not One More Vet, the suicide prevention. So I've just started volunteering for them. And I think for me, I think mental health in the profession is something I want to be a part of. I want to be part of this change because we have terrible suicide rates in the veterinary industry. It's actually terrible. And when I talk to some of my professors, they all have stories. They all have stories of a loved one or a colleague or something that they've lost or had to quit because of mental health issues or change careers. And I think that if that is the reason why people are falling out of the profession or not wanting to go into the profession, that 100% needs to change. And I want to be part of that in some sort of capacity in the future to change that culture, to see our mental health as a whole profession improving and just giving people more opportunities to say how they're feeling and to say that they're not coping and just share that kind of story along the way. I think that's so important and something that I want to be a part of.
Oh, well done. I'm so glad that you're in this space because literally you inspired me to do the Not One More Vet walking challenge for September because I saw that was on your post and I'm like, well, I need to do that too. So that was good. And then I have a few followers, so I put that on my post as well. So I think no, Jazz is asking us to be quieter in the background. In a minute, Jazz. So you're having a direct influence. Like that's better for my mental health to get out and remind myself it's spring. I need to be out walking. We're in lockdown over here. We need to make sure we're doing, the exercise we're allowed to do that, especially when you're locked down with a 7-year-old, it helps to get out into the fresh air and, keep that mental health focus on board. So, you are making a direct impact and you've just, started a great idea and followed your heart and all of a sudden you're helping people. So I'm super proud of you for that, even though we're just getting to know each other, but I am still.
Yeah, it's so cool that you've got involved too. Like I'm just trying to get my flatmate who's also a vet student, she's doing running as well. So I just think it's for such an incredible cause. I just don't want anyone to ever feel like that lost. And I want people to enjoy vet in every, like I haven't even started practicing yet, but I want to be able to enjoy my future career, and knowing that we have that support there is just so important to me. So
yeah, that's great. And I think so a culture change that I'm trying to drive is that when we went through, we were all too scared to open up and share, that we were really fearful, a lot of imposter syndrome, and felt that we were really in direct competition with our peers. And we're all high achievers. We're all used to being the top of things and so naturally competitive, but it kept us kind of isolated away from each other. And so this online, interviews and content and just cracking it open, being vulnerable, letting people know, vets know it's okay to be people too, that they're allowed and accepted to be people too. And then also showing that side of our, big, brave, super smart profession to other humans too, so that they might have a bit more empathy and understanding about the pressures of the work. So, yeah, I really think that's great that you're starting that as an undergrad and helping your fellow undergrads so that we can bring that culture change through the profession. I think that's going to have huge change. Yeah. So, okay, last question. I could just talk to you all day though. It's so much fun. So what advice, looking back, what advice would you give your younger self?
I would say this is kind of a classic answer, but don't be scared of what anyone else thinks. Literally, I lived so many years at high school and the start of university just solely focused on, I can't do this or I couldn't do that or I need to have my friends around me, and you'd pick like a group because your friends were in there, not because you actually wanted to go and do that activity. And I used to just be I guess it was a social anxiety thing. Like I just didn't want to be.
Yeah, don't worry. I spent like 43 years like that, so that's fine. Yeah.
Alienated. I didn't want to be like seen as other or different or anything. But I think I've found this newfound confidence in just literally just being who I am. And I think what I would tell my younger self and anyone out there, just literally, if you want to do something, do it. Don't worry about what anyone else thinks.
I love it. That's so good. Thanks, Jess. So where can people find you to follow you or get in contact if they've got opportunities and stuff?
Yeah, so I don't have a business email yet, but it will be coming. I'll put it on my Instagram. So my Instagram is just my name, Jess Cliffe, Cliff with an E on the end. And my YouTube channel is exactly the same, Jess Cliffe. So.
Yeah, well, I've subscribed. I'm going to get you to whip up a quick course in how to do digital content and I'm going to get the 7-year-old engaged in that because I need some content made. So I reckon you have just such skill in that space. So I'm just going to follow you, support you, and see you change lives alongside. And yeah.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate. I love talking to you, and I think what you're doing in the veterinary space is so cool as well. So I would love to be involved in anything you have in the future. So that's so
awesome. Cool. Oh, well, we'll make that happen. That's great. Okay, great. Well, so thanks so much. We'll sign off now. So this has been our interview for veterinarycareers.com.au. Interview the vet to be nearly a vet, nearly there, but already influencing. So thanks so much, Jess. We really appreciate what you're doing, and it's been wonderful hearing about your journey.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Thank you.